wonderful, fabulous, fantastic Friday. It is a great day, and I'm just excited to be alive. And it's such a beautiful day here in Pasadena that I decided instead of being all cooped up, I was going to do this session with you live and go out and have you go for a walk with me. I have to go to the store and do a little shopping, so I hope you don't mind me sharing with you today this important tip for those of you who are grant writing beginners. I'm going to be sharing some tips with you to help you to do a more effective job with being able to write your grant proposals and being able to get them cranked out much, much quicker. I'm going to share with you some of the tips and things that I share with some of my clients that I work with our Grant Writers Apprenticeship program. And I'm going to be sharing with you some of the tips and suggestions that I share with those who are members of our GFIC. Now, GFIC stands for Get Funded in the Circle. So I want you to grab a pen, grab some paper, because the tips that I'm going to be sharing with you are some valuable things that I use, especially when I'm getting ready to write a grant proposal. Now, with that being said, which way am I going to go? The lights changed. I got to make sure I don't get hit around here. That wouldn't be fun, would it? So with that being said, grab your pen, and I want you to take a few notes, because I'm going to be sharing with you some information that's going to... Looks like we may have lost connections for a second or two there. Hopefully you're able to hear me, because I want you to grab this tip that I'm going to be sharing with you. And if you are, do me a favor so I can know that you're still here, or just to know that this thing is still recording. But hit the like button. If you're there right now, just hit the like button. Whoever you are, wherever you are, just hit that like button. That lets me know, okay, great, we're still in motion, because I got something I want to share with you. And if not, maybe I can just start completely over and share some information, because I want to make sure that you get the important tip that I'm going to be sharing with you today. I'm assuming that this may not be live. So I'm going to... Okay, thank you, Lisa. I appreciate you. You let me know that it was live. I was just getting ready to bam, hit that button. But now that I know that we're still here and that my friend Lisa is with me, Lisa and others of you that will be joining in, I'm going to be sharing with you one tip. Okay, now, here's the one tip. Before I get into that one tip, let me say this. Have you ever just rode a bike at the very beginning stage? Do you remember when you were first riding that bike as a little kid and you were just starting out, and how scary yet exciting it was for you to be able to do something new that you hadn't done before? And think about that experience when you were first riding that bike. What was that like for you? I imagine that it was probably a little scary, right? And I imagine that you maybe at the very beginning stages didn't know what to do, filled with all kind of emotions. Well, those are some of the emotions you kind of experience when you're first doing grant writing. It's both scary, exciting, you're nervous, you don't know what you're doing, but eventually you start out. And many of you, when you first start out, probably had to start out like I did, and that was with the great training wheels. You remember those training wheels they add to the bike? So you start off with those training wheels and you just do your best, and somebody ideally that cares for you is pushing you along, guiding you along as you're moving forward. Well, that's one of the best ways, especially if you're beginning to do grant writing, to start learning. If you can have someone that's pushing you along the way, that's got the training wheels on for you, so that you don't have to worry about you know what I'm talking about. You know what you remember that. You remember when that happened when you were a child? You're riding and you didn't have a training wheel, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, okay, we don't want that to happen to you as a grant writer. We want you to be able to stay steady and have a clear path. And a part of that clear path means having those training wheels on, okay? Now, with those training wheels, that provides another level of safety. And what I'm encouraging you to do, if you haven't, is find someone that's going to guide you along. Now, that's not the tip for the day. That's just a bonus, okay? Now, what is that tip for the day? I'm going to take you down, and the tip for the day is what I call speaking it, okay? So if you can just write down wherever you are right now on your paper, the words speak it, okay? I think I'm gonna go this way. I think I'm gonna go this way because I know the lighting's a little bad right here, but I wanna go this way today because I wanna pass by something pretty cool here in Pasadena called the Pasadena Playhouse and just show you it. A lot of famous actors have come through here. I've seen some great plays here as well. But back to the point. The point is this: if you, my friend, are gonna do this grant writing thing, you gotta get your training wheels and just get on the freaking bike, okay? And you gotta roll with it, okay? And what I'm gonna encourage you to do is to speak it. Now, what do you mean, Rodney, when you say speak it? Some of you that are listening in and watching this video are better at communicating verbally than you are in writing, okay? Now, here's that beautiful Pasadena Playhouse. You can see those big old palm trees and everything. It's a beautiful place here, okay? But this is the historic Pasadena Playhouse, and some great plays have been here. Awesome place. And back to the point at hand, okay? The point at hand is this. Some of you are better at speaking things than you are at writing. So one hack for you, okay? Here's a hack that I want to encourage you to embrace. And that is the hack. I think I'm gonna go down this way. That's the hack of speaking it, okay? Speaking out what you want to communicate in your grant proposal first, okay? Now, what do you mean, Rodney? Well, it's really, really simple. Here's what I'm gonna encourage you to do. Get a recorder, a tape recorder, or you can use your phone or whatever device you use to record, but get a device that you can use to record what's being said and have somebody interview you so that you can speak out the information that needs to come out about the grant proposal. For instance, nearly every proposal that you have to do, you have to communicate things such as the history. There's other important information that has to be communicated, such as descriptions of the program. Oftentimes there's information that have to be included about what is this proposal? What is the project that you're proposing? So if it's easier for you to have someone to interview you about that project, and you can communicate for 20, 30, 40 minutes and just get all of the information out as possible, as much as possible, and then take that information and then have that information later transcribed, then you got a lot of the writing already done for you. Now, I'm a big fan of doing things quickly and not having to waste a lot of time, especially as it relates to writing these proposals. So in terms of getting it transcribed, there are so many different services you can use to transcribe it quickly for you. Don't have time to go into detail about that, but just do some searches on your own on the internet and you'll find several services. But get that information and you have a load of information at your hands now that you can literally take and go back and look at and fine tune. So the writing is not starting from ground zero. The writing is starting from wherever you are and from whatever you've communicated out into that out from that interview, okay? Is this making sense? I hope that it is. I hope that you're getting the point, which is primarily just get the information out by speaking. And here's the other thing. Start where you're at. One of my favorite quotes from Arthur Ashe is, start where you're at, use what you have, and do what you can. So here's my advice to you, my friend. What you're doing as it relates to writing your first grant proposal or some of the grant proposals that you're doing, just start where you're at and use what you have and do what you can. And that may mean simply starting and not fully knowing all that you need to know, but just start, okay? Now, why is it just starting part important, Rodney? Well, it's important for a number of reasons. Because if you don't start, the proposal is never going to come about. And if you don't start, you'll never know if you have the potential to really do this thing or not. And so what happened, your confidence will take another hit. But when you start and give yourself a shot by stepping up to the plate and at least swinging for it and going for it, even if you strike out the first few times, if you don't give up, my friend, and you keep on going, eventually, guess what's going to happen? Eventually, you're going to get better. Eventually, you are going to get better. And that's what happens. And that's really, truthfully, if I think about it, that's really what happened with me when I was doing my first proposal. I'm just going to grab a seat right here. Is it okay for us to just sit down and talk for a little bit? This is Friday, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling the sunshine. So you just got to start, okay? So don't take this so serious that you don't start, okay? And don't be so afraid that you don't start. Now, I'm going to try to take a moment or two, if I can, to try to see if I can read some of your questions. You may have some questions here that you may have, and if you do, feel free to drop them, or maybe you have a comment, feel free to drop it in, and I'm gonna do my best for the next few minutes to try to answer some of those that you may have. But the big thing is, this is Friday, and I want to encourage you to be brave and to take action on what you're trying to do, and don't sit on the ability to possibly learn a skill that may be able to transform your life. Now, what do you mean by transform your life? I just want to talk to you for just a few minutes about this, because when I think about this whole thing of grant writing, this skill literally transformed my life, because when I first learned about it and first decided, hey, you know what, I'm gonna take a class in this. I'm gonna actually learn this thing. I want to know this skill, because at first, if you haven't heard my story, I want to encourage you to go over to the Road to Getting Funded, and it's on YouTube. You can listen to the entire story. But when I was first starting out, I was like, hey, I want to learn this skill, and I didn't have anybody to really teach me. And one of the reasons why I still to this day hang out and help people to learn this is a part of this is me paying it forward, because again, I didn't have anybody when I was first starting out to really learn this, and I needed somebody, and technology wasn't what it is today in terms of having information and access information. So I want to encourage you, if this is something that you think that you really want to do, just do it. You know, life is short, and since life is so short, you don't want to not take risks. Take risks and take a challenge and do what you've got to do to step out and try to make some moves that will help to position you where you ultimately want to go, okay? Now, I'm not saying that you don't have to be doing grant writing for all your life. I'm just saying that it is a very valuable skill I found very helpful. And if you are a beginner and you're just starting out and you're trying to get the confidence, I'm like, the way you gain confidence is by stepping out and doing it. Now, the other way you can gain confidence with this is by getting with someone who's already been there and done that, and let them guide you along. And that's part of why I'm here doing this video, but also that's another reason why we have people over at the GFIC that hang out with us, because once a month we do an in-depth study. And when I'm doing those in-depth studies, I can't really do right now here, but when we're doing those in-depth studies, I'm able to show you examples, because it's more of a PowerPoint keynote presentation where I'm able to walk very methodically through the information with you, okay? So that may be something that you may want to look at, especially our Get Funded Master classes that we have on the fourth Friday of every month. But again, the bottom line goal here is for you, my friend, to go from one level to the next. And the way you do that is by taking a risk, stepping out, and doing something special that you maybe haven't done before. Or if you did like I did the first time, fell flat on your face in this whole grant thing, get back up. I mean, like literally get back up and dust yourself off and get back in the game and try it again, because I didn't meet with success the first time I did this. In fact, the first time I did this, I fell flat on my face. And then I started scratching my head and started saying, you know what, there's a smarter way to do this. There is a much smarter way to do this. Now, let me tell you this. I got back up, and it wasn't an instant get back up. So I'm gonna be very honest with you. It wasn't an instant get back up. It was some years later. It was after I moved from Texas to California and decided, hey, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and do this thing again, because I knew that there was something there. And I think you probably are listening to this because you also know that there's something there that you can do with this skill. So I dove back in and gave it another shot. And let me tell you, that was probably one of the best things I could have ever done. Now, thinking about it right now, literally thinking about it like right now, why was that one of the best things that I could have ever done? Well, here's why. I didn't know at the time that this skill was going to literally be the course of my career. That this was going to take me in a completely different direction than I had been going in the previous time. And I didn't know at the time that this information that I would be sharing with other people, that it would literally help like a lot of people to raise a lot of money. I had no clue that that was going to be what was going to happen. But let me tell you what happened. I mean, like over 300 some odd million dollars have been sent to different people because they got the information and they learned how to do what I'm telling you about, and then they put it into practice, and then they got funded and they helped their organizations get funded, and then the people that were a part of these organizations started helping other people because now they had resources to do it. That's some of what happens when you get this skill and you are able, you don't have to have that money. Many of us will never ever have millions upon millions of dollars. But when you have this skill and you can learn the skill and you can take your words and then help other organizations to be able to secure funding, man, it's a very gratifying feeling. And that's why many people have broken into this field. They want to make a difference. And in addition to making a difference, they also wanted to earn income. So as a grant professional, you know, you can earn a decent living that can help you while you help others. Okay. Now there's so many different things you can do with the skill. Time won't permit me to go into all of that detail right now, but there's some other videos that I'm preparing that's going to address some of that you can look for, that we'll be talking about, hey, what does a career in grant writing look like? And we'll be able to share a little bit more about that. Now, I think I'm going to go a little bit more. Do you want to just hang out for a little bit? If you want to hang out for a little bit, I'm happy to hang out with you, and we can hang out a little bit on this wonderful Friday. Now, just in case you don't know, I live in the city of Pasadena. It's a wonderful little city. It's the place that's best known for the Rose Bowl. A lot of people know about it with the Rose Bowl and the Rose Bowl parade. So I think what I'm going to do is take you on a tour with me. Would you like to go for a little tour and kind of see some of the city? And if you would, just kind of nod your head. You don't have to. You don't have to do anything. Just nod. Okay, great. I saw that nod. Okay, great. So let's go for a little bit of walk here and see some more of this wonderful city. Now, the city is kind of at half status. You know how everything is right now with the COVID, and you may be wondering, like, hey, Rodney, where's your mask? Well, I'll be honest with you. I do have it. Here it is right here, but it's kind of hard to talk with a mask on, you know? So with that being said, let's keep going. And I'm going to take you into my little city. I got a watch here because I want to record and get some information to you, but I don't want to get hit in the process. Now, back to what I was saying. Grant writing has the opportunity to really kind of transform your life. Now, if you are at a place where you say, okay, Rodney, how can I take this skill and really monetize it? A couple things I want to encourage you to do. If you haven't already, I got a going live that I'm going to do within the next week or so. Look for the link that talks about the event. This event is going to be how to make money with grant writing, okay? Because I know a lot of people say, okay, great, Rodney, I want a skill. Cool, I want to help these organizations, but also, Rodney, I want to make some money with this, okay? Now, can some decent money be made in this field? Yes. Decent money can really be made in this field, and I've made a lot of money in this field, and I know of other people who have this skill that are also doing very well. I also know people who have this skill who are not doing very well, okay? So I'm sharing with you just the honest truth. The bottom line is all of it boils down to, what are you going to do with the skill? Now, if you have the knowledge about how this skill works and you do nothing with it, I mean, like if you literally sit on it, and you say, okay, great, I got this skill and I learned how to do it and I've taken some classes and I've secured some grants, but you don't do anything with it, is that gonna help you? You know the answer to that. I don't even have to tell you the answer to that. You know the answer to that. So again, all of this boils back down to what are you gonna do with the skill? And if you do something with it, some great things can happen. Some great things can happen. Now, I'm not too far over in that direction. You can kind of see a building. And that building was the place that I taught my very first grant writing. No, it's actually the second place that I actually taught my second grant writing training. Okay, now that building over there, first one was over at the Boys and Girls Club here in Pasadena. There's another video, if you haven't seen, you can actually see me going on a tour. If you look for the road to getting funded, it talks about it there. I actually take you on a ride to that location. But this was the second place that I actually did a grant writing training. Now, that grant writing training, my friend, let me tell you about it. I'll just tell you this real quickly. When I did that grant writing training, and it kind of can highlight for you some of what can possibly happen once you learn the skill. Now, I did that second training there. The first place was over at the Boys and Girls Club. Somebody asked me, hey, Rodney, can you bring that training over and teach our graduate students? And I said, yes. So I took that person up on that offer. I'm thinking that it was going to be like the first event. Now, the first event, I'll tell you, had probably maybe 8 to 10 or 12 people or so that came to it. And then I'm thinking that the second event is going to be the same way. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, great. It's probably going to be another 10, maybe 15 people at this event. Now, I was very fortunate in that I had a professor. He allowed me to sell his book. That book that he had, I had to get it printed, but he let me sell it. And I sold that little book for probably $20 or $25, somewhere around there. And I'm thinking, okay, great, it's going to be another 10, 15 people maybe. So 10 people, what, 25? Okay, I'm thinking to myself, okay, great. That's a couple $100, $250, somewhere around there. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. Well, my friend, let me tell you what happened. That event ended up having, well, let me tell you what happened. The school that I taught it at, they took that training and they publicized it to all of the graduate students in a 30-mile radius of the school. There ended up being like 78 some odd people or so that registered for that event. It was a 3-hour event. Okay? So here I am now multiplying $25 times about 78 for 3 hours of work. You do the math. After I did that class, you know what I said? I said, I need to do some more of these, okay? That was one of the first times that I started seeing how to monetize this knowledge, okay? Now, after that, after doing the event,
Wait.
I'll wait. Woo, okay. After doing the event, my friend,
Wait.
I will. I already told you I was gonna wait. Boy, it's some little demanding little. Okay.
Wait.
Okay, I'm gonna wait. I told you. Just hold it. Okay. Anyway, so
Wait.
this little thing right here. Okay, so let me walk now. Okay. So here's the deal, my friend. After I did the event, here's what happens next. Somebody at the event asked me to write a grant for them. They went through the training and said, hey, I don't want to do all this. Will you write the grant for me? Okay. Now, why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this just to give you a piece of the journey. And you may be a beginner and you may be wondering, hey, can you actually monetize this? You can monetize the knowledge, but here's the real deal. You got to do something. You got to take action. If I had never taken that first step, nothing would be there. It's just like this building. Okay, can you see this construction that I'm in? There's a site, there's a hotel in the process of being built. And it used to be, Used to be like a Macy's over there. We'll go and check it out. Used to be a Macy's over there. But then they tore it down and built the hotel. It's a hotel on the back side of it, but this is the other portion of it now. A building is not built unless you lay the foundation. And all foundations require that you dig deep and you lay a foundation, one brick at a time, okay? So here's the thing. If you're really serious about learning this skill and doing something with this skill, start somewhere. Start. I mean, like start. Like get started with it, okay? Let's go this way. We're gonna go inside. I'm just gonna take you around a little bit of Pasadena so you can kind of see some of it. And we can continue to talk and kind of hang out. Those of you that are here right now, where are you coming from? Just let me know what city, if you can, or what state you're in. I'd like to at least know that. And if you'd like to, feel free to leave your name, but I just want to kind of know, okay, great. Who is this? I got Rebecca. How you doing, Rebecca? Thank you for joining me. Thank you for bringing me along. I'm glad that thank you for hanging out. I really appreciate you hanging out with me. And I hope this is helping you, okay? Now, with that being said, we're going to continue to go today. And I'm taking right now, this is like the little Paseo area. And this building here, right back there, you'll kind of see right back over there, there's the other part of that hotel. But this, I believe, is another part that's getting ready to be built. But again, nothing's built unless you put in the work to help build it. So what do you want to do in terms of grant writing? Okay, I got Michigan. Okay, that's Rebecca in Michigan. All right, great. Thank you. I hope I'm going to send you some of the sunshine. Bam. Okay, there you go. Send you some sunshine from Pasadena. Some love and some sunshine from Pasadena. So hopefully you, my friend, as a grant professional, if you are a grant professional already, are striving. Some of you want to grow businesses. I hear from a number of you saying, hey, you want to grow businesses. Well, I want to let you know a business can be built, but you got to first get the skill, get the knowledge. And then once you get the knowledge, my friend, start hanging out with other people who are already doing it. And that's one of the reasons we created the Get Funded in a Circle, to help people. Now, I can't pass this place up. I got to go back and take you to this place real quickly. Where is that place? I got to show you. Rebecca, if you're still here, I got to show you. Okay, is it here? I think I passed it. Okay, they changed this place up someplace around here. I can't remember where it is. It may have been that one. It may have been, I think it might have been that one. But that's where I took my first salsa classes at. You didn't know I had a little salsa skills. I got some, okay? Got some salsa skills, okay? But anyway, and just in case you don't believe me, I have to show you a video one day. That's enough. We'll say that for another day. But with that being said, you know, think about the salsa thing. It just reminds me. When I first did salsa, guess what, my friend? I sucked. I mean, I was the worst. I never will forget stepping on this young lady's foot so bad. I mean, I damaged her foot. It was ugly. It was the worst. And I, after class, had the nerve to go back up when they started having a free dancing. I had the nerve to go and ask her again if she wanted to dance. And you should have saw the look on her face. She was like, no. she got away from me so fast. Yeah, Rebecca, I do have moves. I do have some moves, girl. I do. Now, I got to show you. I can't show you right now, but I do have some moves. But at the time when I was first starting out, I was the worst. And let me tell you this. I got to tell you the story. In fact, I think I go by the place. Do you mind hanging out with me? Let's just go for a little bit. We're going to go down to the place. I'm going to go and show you the place. And one day I have to come back over here and I got to show you this really cool antique shop. But for now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take you and I'm going to show you the place that I stepped on this girl's foot so bad. It was the worst. I'm sorry. Even as I think about it right now, it cracks me up. And why is this important, especially for what you're doing in terms of grant writing? It's really important because when I was first starting out, I was intimidated. And the first time when I first did it, I saw these people and they were so good. And they were just spinning people around and they were tossing and turning everything. And I didn't know what I was doing. And so after I took that first class, it was so bad. I mean, it was the worst. It was so bad. The next week when I came back, you know what I did? You know what I did? I'm gonna tell you what I did. I just sat there. I didn't take no class. I just sat there and watched for 2 weeks. And I was like, man, I wish I could do that. And people spinning people around, they were tossing people around. They were doing all kinds of things. And here I am now sitting on the sideline like Snoopy or something, like like the reject of the class, like the kid who didn't get picked up for the on the team, the one kid who did not, nobody said, hey, I want Jimmy on my team. I was that kid, okay? So it was the worst. So 2 weeks, I sat and just watched. And then that third week, I think something finally rose up in me, said, man, give it another shot. And I am so glad that I did. And I think, let me tell you this. I'll tell you another reason. Okay, I hope this is helping because I just want to share some information with you because, hey, here's my goal. My goal is to see you get off the sideline. That's my goal. I want to see you get off the sideline. Like I was on the sideline, I want to see you get off the sideline. So here's what happened. What happened was this. I was a little intimidated because the looks on the faces, like that lady, that girl who foot I stepped on it hard. I wouldn't dance with me. I stepped on her foot, but I stepped on her so hard. And then the others that I was working with and trying to take dance classes with, they also were like, you can't dance. And let me tell you the mistake that I made. The place that I just showed you, that first place, there was a guy from Dancing with the Stars. He that owned that place, and a really cool guy named Christian, and he was a very smooth dancer. He was one of the choreographers for Dancing with the Stars and everything, and really cool guy. But I had taken some classes over there, and the classes that I had taken in salsa, they had me taking not just salsa, they had me taking all these other ballroom classes where I was really trying to learn salsa. So we only got a little salsa, but I felt like, okay, I'm at least past the beginner stage with salsa. So I end up going to the wrong class. I end up going to the intermediate class. And so here I am with my little beginner self going over to the intermediate class. And because I went to that class, I'm stepping on feet left and right. The girls not wanting to dance with me. They're like, get out of here. Like, get out of here. Who are you? Okay. And so now, 2 weeks later, I'm not wanting to get on the dance floor because I'm intimidated because I think they're so far above me. Okay. What I should have done, and we're about a block away from the place that I had that lesson. I'm going to show you in just a second. But before I do that, I'm going to grab a quick seat over here. I see a couple others have popped in. Where are you guys from? Let me know where you're from. And I'm going to take a quick seat. Now, here's what happened. What I should have done was, instead of acting like I had some skills, I should have taken my behind upstairs where all the other beginners were. Okay, I should have went where all the other beginners were and taken some basic lessons. But I thought that I was beyond that. Okay, Frisco in the house. Is this okay? Now, is this San Francisco Frisco, or is this Frisco in the Dallas area? Because I know I'm from Texas originally, and so I know there's a Frisco there. So you talking about Frisco, Cali, or Frisco, Dallas, or Frisco somewhere else? Let me know. Okay, let's get back on this road because Frisco, Texas. All right, what up, Texas in the house? I'm from D-Town. I'm from Dallas. Dallas is where I'm originally from. Okay, now I'm looking at the place again where I embarrassed myself. Okay, and again, this has a lot to do with you being a beginning grant writer. Okay, I want you to know this because, again, maybe you're a beginner grant writer and you're on the fence and you're afraid to make a mistake. Listen, I've been there. I made the mistake of stepping on those feet. Listen, I know some toes are probably still being healed to this day because of what I did. But I want you to hang around because I want to tell you what finally happened. You've got to hear what finally happened. Now, you can see Yeah, you see that place right over there. Okay, we're getting ready to head to. Well, it's a lot of sun on that side. I'm not sure if I'm gonna head over there, but I want from across the street. But here's the deal. What happened was this. I decided to go back, and I started taking some more classes, and I kept going, and I going, and I kept going, and I kept going. Now I didn't tell you. I didn't tell you what happened before that, which is also very important. I was in Hawaii, and I was taking a class. I actually was in Hawaii teaching a class in grant writing. I was teaching a class over at the University of Hawaii, and it was the last day. The last day, and I'd already, had taken a few classes where I just showed you a little earlier, but it was the last day, and I'm on the campus, and I see a little sign. That little sign had a little sticker there that you could pull off, and it talked about this place that you could go dancing, and it was salsa, and they were gonna have classes. And so I said, "Oh wow!" Let me tell you what I said. I'm gonna tell you. Let me sit down here for a second, because I'm gonna tell you exactly what I said. I said, "Oh wow! I'm over in Hawaii. If I mess up over here, it's not the mainland. Nobody will know how bad I did." So I went to that place, and I think the place was called like Vices. I'm not sure if it's still there now, but I went, had a blast. Oh my God, I had a blast. It was so much fun. And so after going there, I said, I gotta find another place where I live that I can do the same thing. And that's where somebody told me about this place that I'm about to show you, that I went in, and that was a place where I stepped on this girl's, I stepped on her feet and clobbered it, but it's that place right across the street. You see it? Okay, Ixtapa, that's where I went, okay? And let me tell you what happened. I started taking these classes, more and more classes, and I eventually got better. I didn't tell you about the embarrassing experience that I had over in Hawaii, which led me to wanting to take more classes. I think would you like to hear about that? If you do, just let me know. Just hit yes. And if this story is helping you at all in any kind of way, hit that like button and let me know, okay? But if you want me to tell you about Hawaii, if not, I'll just go ahead and tell you what happened here, okay? I'm waiting. Rebecca, are you still there? I'm waiting, okay? Now, I'm assuming that you don't want to hear about Hawaii, so since no one has said anything about Hawaii, I'll say that story for another time. But let me tell you what happened over here at this location. Okay, here's what happened, Rebecca. What happened, I'm not going to tell you about Hawaii, nobody wanted that, but let me tell you what happened over here. I eventually started taking these classes. I get better, okay? I get better. Okay, Rebecca's saying, please tell. Rebecca, okay, I will tell you what happened. Here's the thing. In Hawaii, again, let me go back and sit down. In Hawaii, I'm a beginner. I'm like a beginner's beginner, okay? But I'm having fun. I'm having a blast. There was this one young lady, she could dance. And somewhere I'm just having so much fun that night. I guess the endorphins are going off, and I'm having so much fun that I just lose my mind. And the part of me losing my mind was me asking this girl, who was one of the best dancers there, to dance, okay? So I asked her to dance, and it was like a deer. Listen, it was like I was dancing with, it was like a deer with headlights. I froze. I froze. I was the worst. That was the longest 3 minutes. If you could have seen the look on her eyes that she had of me, like, why did you ask me to dance? And please don't you ever ask me to dance again. Oh my God. And so I wanted to go back to Hawaii, improved. So that's what led me to taking the classes here to try to get better, so I could go back over there and find her and dance with her. Now, I eventually end up learning. But let me tell you what happened. I came here, went right over there, and took class after class after class after class after class. And guess what eventually started happening? I started getting better. And not only did I get better, I mean, I got really good at it. And let a salsa song pop on right now. Let somebody be ready to dance. I'm ready to pop on that dance floor. Okay, I'm ready. And just in case you don't believe me, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave a link. I'm gonna leave a link later on. It's not there now. I'm gonna leave a link to a music video. Can you believe that yours truly was actually in a music video? I know it sounds crazy. I know you know me just from grants, okay? I know you say, oh, that's just that guy that walks around and wears those suits and teaches people about grant writing. But I do a lot more than that, okay? There is a video that's on YouTube. I'm going to put it down in the description a little bit later on. I can't do it now because I'm walking and talking. But what I'll do is I'll leave that video for you, and you can check it out. The video, last time I looked at it, had well over 7 million views. Okay, now can you believe the guy? You're gonna watch? Okay. I'll try to tell you where it's at, Rebecca, so you can at least go and maybe see it now if you can. But the video has over some 7 million views, and I'm like, 7 million views, the guy who couldn't dance, the guy who stepped on the lady some toes, that guy now is in a music video with a top performing artist and some people who are top performing artists in the Dominican Republic, and I'm over there doing some bachata dance moves, and I get a few seconds of airtime on these music videos. But I'll tell you the name of it. You might be able to find it. Rebecca and whoever else is here helping me out. Who's the other person I have over in Frisco, by the way? Who's that person in Frisco? Okay. If you guys can check this out, let me know if you can find it. But I'm going to leave a link later on if you can't, just in case you can't. But it's called Mal Delamar. And I'm going to grab a seat over here for a second. Mal Delamar, M-A-L, and then if you type in D-E, and then A-M-O-R. So, Mal Delamar. Okay? I'm saying it all right, Mal De. I'm gonna look for that link. There's a music video with a young lady, and her name slips my mind right now. Her name is slipping my mind right now. But in that music video, you'll see a lady, she's kind of like wearing blue jeans, and this was a video that was done over at Warner Brothers. Let me know, can you look for it, Rebecca, and let me know if you can see that? Maybe open up another window, and I'm gonna keep walking around here a little bit. But if you can see that and you find it, let me know. But in that video, I'm there probably in about the 2 minute and 36 second mark, somewhere around there is where I first, my first little cameo appearance, and you'll see me with a little hat on and everything, but that's me dancing on a music video that has had millions of viewers. Okay, now why am I telling you all this? I'll tell you why I'm telling you all this. I'm gonna go back to the point and let me know, Rebecca, did you find that video? Did you find it? My friend in Frisco, did you find the video? Let me know. Just put yes or no. If you haven't found it, it's okay, because I'm gonna leave the link a little bit lower and just later on when I get back and I'm able to do it. But let me know if you're able to find it. Anybody find it? Okay, you find it? Okay, I'm waiting. Somebody say something so I can at least know. Okay, so here's the deal. What happens, I'm now on this national or international music video that millions of people have seen. But again, this was the same person who didn't know how to dance at all. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is this. The only way that I could have gotten that skill is by rolling up my sleeves, putting in the work, and learning it. Okay, so Rebecca, you haven't found it yet? Internet's lagging a little bit. No worries. No worries. I'll have it here. I'll come back and place it a little bit later on so that you can be able to see it. But the bottom line is that would have never happened if I hadn't put in the work to learn the skills and the practice over and over and over and over again until it became something that was like habitual repetition. And I started doing those moves, bam, I started doing those little moves. And before you know it, that skill was acquired. And that skill is still very much with me right now. Why am I telling you this? Because you, my friend, if you are serious about wanting to learn the skill, you gotta, the way you learn it is not by sitting on the fence and staying a beginner. Earlier I gave you a great hack, one great hack. I'm gonna give you some more a little bit later on as well. But if you take this information and then you apply it and start doing something with it, you too can begin to learn a new skill. And that new skill, you never know where that new skill is going to take you. That new skill may take you some places that you probably never ever imagined before in your life. Now, with that being said, here's what I'm going to encourage you to do. I'm going to keep on going here. And right now, where we're at, just in case you're wondering, we're in beautiful Pasadena. This is the Old Town area, and you can kind of see some of these old historic buildings around here. But it's kind of empty compared to what it would normally be like because of COVID and everything. And we'll keep on going here for just a few more minutes, and then I'm going to wrap this thing up. But let's see. Yeah, you can kind of see a lot of the shops here and everything. It's a really, really nice downtown area that I like. And with that being said, you know, if you haven't visited this place, it may be worth one day where you can kind of come and visit and check it out, because it's a really, really cool place. Now, I'm gonna take you down to one of my favorite places in this city. I'm gonna take you down this. This is my favorite alley here in good old Town Pasadena. Now, with it, got some really fun memories in this place. And let me take you to some of the cool spots in this city. I'm gonna tell you why it's one of my favorite spots. It's closed right now. It is closed. And the reason it's closed right now is because of this whole COVID. Now, normally there would be people all up and down this wonderful place. And you see, we got the tents. They've kind of got us on lockdown here. I'm not sure about where you guys are. I know, like in Texas, where my family is, they've kind of opened back up. But here's one of my favorite places in Pasadena. I'm not gonna lie. One of my favorite places in Pasadena. Can you see that? That's one of my favorite places, okay? Now, it's one of my favorite places because it's a spa, okay? Let me sit down for a second. That place, and I'm gonna tell you why this was one of my favorite places. That place right there, Bert, I call him Bert, okay? Now, other people call him Bert William, I call him Bert. And Bert was one of my greatest friends. Is actually my counselor. I call Bert my counselor because I would go inside of Bert and would sit down. And that's a place that I used to envision. It's a place I used to envision where I wanted to be. Where I'm at right now, and a lot of the stuff that I'm doing right now, I envision in that place. Now, it's a wonderful place, just in case you've never been. But if you ever come to the city, go check it out. It's a cool place. Cool manager there named Carl, good friend. And here's the thing. I envision where I want it to be, okay? I envision where I want it to be. And I would sit in that steam room and envision. Now, at the time that I was doing some envisioning, it was one of the lowest points in my life, okay? But I went in and I said to myself, okay, I said, Rodney, you can either do one or two things. You can let the situation break you, or you can let the situations of life make you. And I decided I was gonna let it make me better. So I'll never forget going in this place right here, and in the midst of going in this place, I said to myself, I said, you know what? I could either go to a therapist and spend $100 and some odd every single time I go and visit, and go one time and maybe leave feeling better or feeling worse. Or I could come, I could come over here, and I know every time that I leave from this spa, I always feel better. And so they had a place where you could go in and you could, I mean, it was wonderful. Take a nice long shower. They had a white robe waiting for you and some hot shoes. And if you don't think that a white robe and some hot shoes can make you feel better, you haven't been to this place. But I would go in, and then they had the steam room, and then they had a little fruit. I had my little apple, my little orange, or some water that had a little cucumber in it, and I would feel like a little king. And come in, take a long shower, and then they had a steam room, and I would go into the steam room and the dry sauna and just hang out. But here's the point: it was in that steam room and that dry sauna that I would sit there, and I would start envisioning what I wanted my life to look like moving forward. Okay? What I wanted my life to look like moving forward. A lot of what I'm doing today, I was thinking about several years ago. Okay? Thinking about, wow, where do I want my life to be? Where am I trying to go? How am I going to rebuild? What do I want the Rodney of the future to look like? Now, I'm hoping that these stories are helping you, and that you can see, as I lift the hood, a little bit more about how I got to where I'm at, and hopefully that it'll encourage you on your journey, and maybe one thing may be said that can help you to say, hey, this is what I can do. And I encourage you to spend some time envisioning what you want your future to look like, whether that's with grant writing, whether that's with something else, but to think about what it is that you really want to do, and to envision what is that thing, okay? What is that thing for you? Has anybody in here that's with me right now ever envisioned anything, okay? What is that thing that you've envisioned? And whatever it is, think about it, okay? Great way to compare a therapist with a spouse. What do I want in my life looks like before? Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Rebecca, for that. Thank you for that reply. Thank you for that reply over there, okay? So again, we take that time to get the skill, to learn information, to change, to start seeing something completely different. And when we do that, we start envisioning a new future for ourselves, and do something that takes you to your happy place. This was my happy place. It's still my happy place. I love this place, okay? But find something that makes you, that lifts you up, that really strengthens you. And that's why I'm a big fan of hanging around people that also help to motivate me, encourage me. You can't spend enough time with those people, because the more you do, the more they encourage you. So again, it's like changing your environment, finding the people, getting yourself situated to be where you want to be, to get to where you want to go. Okay? Now, I'm getting ready to sign out. I hope you've enjoyed this little tour of Pasadena. It's a really cool city, and a lot of fun memories here. Now, here's what I want to encourage you to do. Tomorrow, I don't know if I told you this, but I'm going live every single day this month. In the month of January 2021, I'm going live, okay? And I want to invite you, if you haven't, I'm going to be going live again at 11:30 Pacific Standard Time. All this week, all next week. And I'm coming for sure. Each time I come, I'm going to come with some insight to help you improve your grant efforts, okay? I'm going to come with some insight to help you with your grant efforts. So if you're serious about learning grants, come and hang out with me for a little bit. And remember, if you haven't already joined us over at GFIC, just go to getfundedinnercircle.com. It's a great place for you to hang out with other people who are seeking to grow as grant professionals. Now remember, on the fourth Friday of every month, we have an hour-long masterclass where I'm teaching you grants. And it's not like a walk and talk like I'm doing right now, where I'm just kind of hanging out. But we're going through detailed information, sharing with you step by step how to go about doing this whole grant thing, so that you can learn the skill, and you can hopefully not be like I was on that dance floor. Maybe right now, listen, maybe right now you like I was on that dance floor. But the beautiful thing, just like in that story I shared with you earlier, things can change. They can change. And I want you to come back later on. Give me a couple of hours or so, but later on, there's gonna be a link. And what I'll do is I'll make it the first link that will be in there where you can see the dance episode. And again, it's gonna probably be around the 2-minute, 36-second mark, somewhere around there. And you can see, listen, you can, what you're gonna be able to see, you're gonna be able to see me bust a, you're gonna be able to see me bust a salsa move, okay? Thank you again for your time. Thank you again for hanging out with me. If something's been said to help you, hit that like button, and then I will see you, my friend, later on. Peace, hair grease, and remember, in all your dealings, I want you to be brave, be bold, be brilliant, and take charge. Hey, Miss Struggs, thank you for hanging out with me. Take charge, guys, okay? All the best.